Hey, what's up guys, UselessFodder here. So tonight we're going to be doing a little bit of mission editing and scripting in Arma 3. The FoddSquad on, really all of our liberations, but definitely the latest one that we're running in our B team on Shannar's Winter is running into a problem that a lot of people in Liberation have where the civilians just hate us because of course, enemies use RPGs and tanks in their villages, smashing their village buildings and killing their civilians, and somehow we get blamed for it. There's not really a way in Liberation to deal with that, to improve civilian reputation, other than trying to capture more places and not letting them get destroyed, and that's a problem because you can't really control what the enemy's going to do. So I thought maybe if we try to create a side mission that allowed you to sort of go in and do something good for the civilians and give it a modest bump, maybe up to a certain percentage maximum. So you can't just get them all the way to 100% this way, but you can get them out of the negative so they stop attacking you. That's kind of the thought process on this. So, yep. So right now in the editor, we're going to do this on, probably do it on Altis just because it's basic. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try to make sure that we do this like the proper way. And so to do that, we're actually going to go ahead and I've already forked the actual KP Liberation main branch. I've actually forked it already for my own custom branch. We used it to set up our new Shannar's Winter like Ion versus Wagner one, but we're actually going to do a new one off of just this master right here. So I'm just gonna create a branch real fast. We'll call this side missions. Yep. New branch. Create branch. Cool. So we'll do that. Oh, no, we don't want to publish. No, that was a mistake already. Oops. I wanted to fetch the origin. Whatever. It doesn't matter. We published it. Oops. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so what they'll do is that we'll pull into our documents. Why can't I find it? I'm too dumb. GitHub. There we go. Here we go. So now here it pulls into KP Liberation. Gooms, we got a lot of great fun out of it so far. It's working out pretty well. Definitely check out the streams over on Twitch if you haven't. Hey, what's up, Vault? And by the way, good morning to you, Hoodle. Definitely go check out some of the VODs. It's really fun. The guys seem to really be enjoying it. The Winter Shannar's stuff is really cool as well. So all it is, we just replaced all of the Blue 4 units with Ion and the Op 4 units with Wagner Group. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. I think people have really been enjoying doing something a little bit different. We don't have like all of the latest and greatest stuff. We're using a lot of old Russian stuff. That's kind of fun in its own way. So we've been enjoying that a lot. It's 6 tons of fun, exactly 6. Well, that's good. Is that metric tons though? Anyway, so we're looking here. Here's the KP Liberation that we pulled from the main branch. So what we're gonna do is go into our MP missions folder right here. Okay, we got some missions obviously we're doing. We're going to take the mission framework, which is this file right here. This has literally everything you need for the mission, other than the mission file or the mission base file itself. So you see like kpliberation.altis just has a mission SQM. So what you do, like we're gonna do this on Altis, we're gonna Control C, Control V to bring KP Liberation Altis into here, right? Open that up, and then we're gonna take the mission framework, take all these files out of it, and just dump it straight into here. So I'll copy for a second, and then that should be good to go. Now when I go back into here, I'm on Altis. Let that load up there on Altis. Open MP missions, KP Liberation Altis. Should work just fine. Yep, cool. So now we have a blank slate Liberation right here on Altis. Nothing too fancy. Looks like Liberation, right? And I'm gonna put up a whole series of videos here soon that's literally about how to port this to a new map, how to do like the thing we did with Ion and Wagner, where you make new Blue 4, new Op 4. I'm gonna make some tutorials on all that, like probably 5-minute videos on just the steps to actually do all that, and then maybe make one big super compilation of doing a total overhaul, new map, new enemies, new civilians, everything like that, and all the fun little stuff you can do. But today we're working on coding, right? We're gonna be doing a lot of stuff with scripts. So I needed this base KP Liberation just so that we're good to go. Big shout out to the guys over at Killer Potatoes, by the way, for everything they've done for this map. It's really, really cool. I really, really enjoy playing it. And that's the only reason why I spent so much time modding it, is just because it's a great base game. So to sort of show what it is that we're going to do, it's going to be more than just tonight, but you know, over the course of tonight, we're going to go here. We're going to start the campaign with the fob rebuild. Yeah, okay, cool. Excellent. Do that. Back. Sorry, I just had to set that up. We're going to load in. I'm going to show you exactly what the mod or what this will add to it. Yeah, Liberation is my favorite too. There's just something about Liberation. We've had a good time playing Anasazi, but it's just a different gameplay. And then there's like, you know, Zeus. There's just something about what you can do in Liberation that's just so, I don't know, just really enjoyable. Anyway, so we're gonna spawn our fob, and when we get to the fob, we'll give ourselves, I don't think we have to do permissions. Yep, cool. See, if you can see on our top left here, no, I don't want tutorial. You see our top left, we've got secondary objectives right here. If we select that, they have this nice little system for selecting secondary objectives. There's fob hunting, which allows you to lower the enemy's readiness level by 40%. Convoy hijack, which affects their readiness level and gets you some supplies. Search and rescue, which allows you to sort of grind up additional intel points. And that's it. Now, there's a lot of, if you look on the right, oh, I don't have ACE on, but if you look on the right side, like over here, there's a lot of different a lot of different factors in this game. You got your intel, you've got the civilian population's view of you, you have the enemy's readiness. Of course, you have your own supplies, everything like that. I think there should be more side objectives that allow you to get more of that stuff. And so, specifically, like I said, that civilian problem we want to deal with, that's what we're going to try to do today. Okay, so that's just the basics of sort of where we're at right now. These are the only secondary objectives. I want to add a fourth one that's called, like, humanitarian aid, probably is what I'll call it. This UI is something that I still have to learn a bit about, so that we might not get to that point today, but I'd like to at least make the mission so we can, like, you know, sort of through a console command actually run it so it works. And the way we're going to do that is actually we're going to look at these what they have that they're using for these objectives. Like this search and rescue one is probably a good base. Maybe the fob hunt also another good base, right? Because it puts something on the map. You have to go there and do something. And then all we have to do is really add in the part of it that is, you know, that basically checks for supplies. So my thought process on this particular mode is that you, as the Blue 4, you know, as NATO or whatever, you're coming in to help the civilians only in the towns that you own. So you'll only be able to run it if there is a town, which are like these, you know, Korani, something like that, that is on your side that you already captured. And so you will then have to take a certain amount of supplies, probably like 200 supplies, which is like 2 boxes, to a random Blue 4 town. And when you pull those supplies out of your vehicle or in some way drop them within the target area, then it will, you know, pop off that you've completed the mission, and you will raise the civilian reputation by like 5 to 10%, and that costs you 200 supplies and some time. So if you really want to grind it out, you can do that, but it's not overpowered to where like suddenly the civilians love you. So we're gonna go ahead and abort this, go back to our editor screen. We're not gonna have to do much here. We're just using Arma to be able to test any of the edits we make. So going back here to our kpliberation.altis file, this is where all of the scripts are running. And they're all in this funny scripting language called SQF. Now, there's a lot of things that you could do. You can just edit in the straight, like, text editor, like WordPad or something like that. But I use Notepad++. It's a pretty well-known and easy-to-use thing. And you can download the language for SQF for it. So that's what we're going to use today. Like I said, we pulled all of this stuff. What the heck is going on? Why is my... I don't know what's even going on. I'm not even going to worry about that right now. Oh, probably because I just dragged it over, isn't it? Oops. That's my bad. And then we undo like it never happened. Apparently I dragged it and then took it out of that file. So I have also prepared by creating a new file that sort of has like a write-up on it. So all the side missions exist within scripts, server, secondary, And here's the 3 scripts that run the secondary missions right here. Kazvaku Gorillas. That's a pretty interesting idea. By the way, hello Ghost Dog, welcome. I see you said hi. Sorry I didn't say hi back. Anyway, so I've created civsupplies.sqf just as a mission that we can just go ahead, double click and launch right here. So what all this is just a copy and paste of the fob hunt one, but I put some steps that I think are basically, dude, I don't know how anyone codes in dark theme. I use Discord in dark theme, but I can't code in dark theme. I don't know, it messes with my head. Anyway, so the steps that I think and kind of what I think is good technique for any time I script is I try to think of what all the steps are that I need to accomplish, and then of course I'll break these down into mini steps with proper commenting along the way. I love Liberation, but I will say probably only 1/3 of Liberation is actually commented. I actually say what each thing does. This file in particular, none of the secondary objectives actually have any comments on how they work. So you kind of have to look through them to figure it out. Anyway, so my concept of this is step 1, once they launch the script, will be to get a list of the blue 4 towns, which will probably require getting an entire list of towns, figuring out which ones are blue 4, and then figure out which ones are just towns. So probably all the markers you'll have to check, and then you'll have to edit by what markers are these kind of towns, and go forth from there. But I'm going to put a star next to this one, because I'm pretty sure that there's already a script or some sort of variable that holds that information, like blue 4 owned sectors, I'm pretty sure already exists in here. Step 2 is going to be create a 50-meter radius marker at that town, sort of like how when you do fob hunt, how that works. And then I think we should spawn a civilian leader or some sort of civilians like sort of milling about the center of that, just so you can get a sense when you're driving around without having to look constantly at your map, like, oh, here's where these people are at. They probably want the supplies. And then just like how this works, we're going to do a while loop to basically wait until the objective is complete, and then it'll check to see when 2 of the proper kind of crates have been brought to within that marker, so within that radius marker. And then after that, we will delete crates and raise civilian rep by a defined amount. Now, the way that these secondary objectives currently work is there is a script in the top level called Liberation Config. This is a very powerful script that most people don't ever edit, and they really should. It basically has almost everything other than the presets that is configurable within the game. You have to edit this if you want to change your presets, because all the preset like selections here. But what it also has, if you search, I think it's secondary. Yep. So if you look, it has some hard-coded value, or not hard-coded, but it has some values that you can edit for things like how far can you build your fob around the main building? Like how wide can your fob be? If you want to halo jump in, at what altitude will you halo jump? I mean, it's got all that sort of stuff. Those are all editable through here. One of the ones that I told on stream, and I think a way of going around the issue that we run into where you can't seem to capture sectors without pissing the civilian reputation you get for capturing sectors is so much less than what you lose by killing people in it. That all those reputation penalties and benefits are all right here, and this is will be a huge chance or a huge factor in how you actually will make it to where you are able to continue going through. So, for instance, right now you lose 5% every time you kill a civilian. Any civilian that dies, you automatically lose 5% civilian rep. If you destroy a building, it's 3%. If you destroy a vehicle, it's 2%. If you kill a friendly resistance fighter, it's 3%. Enemies don't affect you. And here's what you gain for liberating a sector. 5%. So if you accidentally kill 1 civilian, or say destroy 2 buildings, sometimes including things like, walls and fences and stuff like that, then you will easily outnumber that. So a very quick way of making it to where the civilian reputation is a little better is to make sure that when you liberate a sector, you get more, maybe like 15 to 20%. You can reduce these penalties. I think the penalties are probably at a pretty legit point. Maybe the buildings a little bit longer. But this right here, the chance that there are wounded civilians right after capturing a sector, go ahead and bump that up to 100, so there's a 100% chance. And then make it to where every time you pick one up, it gives you, like, say, 4. That way, yeah, you may accidentally have killed someone, you may actually destroy a building, but when you do capture that sector, you'll get an immediate bump in the civilian reputation, and then you can spend time to go around and pick up guys to get it back up. Anyway, that's just a little bit of navel gazing about how you can do it without this. But what I care about here is looking at these numbers here. I'm going to want to make it to where the I want to make something like this where it says like secondary objective impact. I want to make another one of these that's editable in this list. So that's what I was talking about here. The by a defined amount. That defined amount will be defined somewhere in here. And that way, when somebody goes through here, they'd be like, oh, yeah, when we do our civilian supply run mission, we want it to get us 20% instead of just the normal 5 or whatever. So it's configurable like the rest of it. Very powerful file if you want to edit that. Anyway, and that's all the steps, in my opinion, of what you have to do. Obviously, it will then exit the script and you'll be over and done with. So without further ado, we're just sort of going to go dive into running through these steps. Now, what I'm going to first do is, this is the fob hunt mission here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to comment out the entire mission as it exists now. I have it here just to reference because there's a lot of things that this does that are good. I will also pop open the secondary one for fob hunt on another one. So we're not editing this. We are only editing civ supplies, right? We could probably close that one out. But I just commented that out just so that we have something to work with. It's going to be underneath what we're actually coding. So a powerful tool that we can use here in the Notepad++ is if you hit Control-Shift-F, or if you just hit Control-F, and it'll start you here, you'll find in files. What you want to do is here we'll go KP Liberation Altus select folder. What we're going to do is we're going to search for any word in any of the files that exist in this whole folder. This is going to be really helpful for us to try to figure out capture points. So this is kind of also a way that you can learn about how a map interacts, especially a complicated map like Liberation, is by sort of tracing how variables are passed back and forth, how the scripts are run. And even if they don't give you good commenting on it, you can kind of figure it out just by searching around, like, oh, here's the name of this script. What calls this script? I just searched the script name here, and oh, look, I see it pops up here, here, and here. Why would it call it then? And you just sort of backwards trace it all the way back to the source, right? But I think this is just called, if I remember correctly, it's just called, we're going to search blue for it. I think it's just called blue for the points. See, get nearest blue for objective means that this particular function is for sure going to be helpful to us. That's going to call on some sort of list of blue for objectives and search against it. So that's going to be helpful. So that, just right off the bat, that helps me. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, Control-Shift-F. And now instead of blue for, I'm going to search get nearest blue for point, find all. Okay, cool. So here is the fn get nearest blue for point. It is here in this folder right here. This one does have good commenting on it because, you know, this is the newest one that's written by the KP dev team, and they do a great job. So we're going to look at this script and say it's going to find nearest blue for sector fob position. And it's going to look at if all fobs and blue for sectors. Here we go. Blue for sectors is exactly what we want to search through. So that saves us half our work already. There is some sort of array that holds all of the current blue for sectors. So I'm going to go look and say, okay, blue for sectors. What builds that array? How does it look? And so go through down here, and I think that what we want is not sector manager. It might be sector manager. That's the tutorial. UI manager. Just looking around to see where the blue for sectors are at. So I just get a message I gotta check. Well, I have to check, but save manager, manage one patrol, reinforcements manager, sector liberated remote call sounds like what we want. So we're gonna open this one up because it's gonna be useful to us. what this, I know this one because I've dealt with it a bunch. What this one does is it basically, when you liberate a sector, it does all the stuff that needs to happen. So we look right here, and we got it got passed into this at some point, whatever called this, the liberated sector, and that's gonna be the name of the actual capture point. So like military 3, capture 7, big town 2. That's gonna be the name that's passed in to that, right? And I don't know why this comment radius increases here, but I won't worry about that. So we're gonna look right here. So it's gonna say, is this liberated sector, is it in the list of cities? Is it in the list of captures, which are towns, military bases, factories, or radio towers? So these are all predefined things that were built at the map initiation, saying every sector that is a city is now in here. Every sector that is in this. The only reason why it's looking through this switch case, so trying to figure out which one it is to see how much angrier the enemies get. But this tells us a lot about how the map's already built. That we have things that are called sectors, big town, sector, capture, sector, whatever. So now we know that there is a blue 4, where to go? Blue 4 sectors exists. Sector captures exists. So we now know that the map is already keeping track of everything that's currently blue 4 and everything that is currently just a town. So with that in mind, how are we going to go about selecting a random, because that's what we're doing right here. Select random blue 4 owned town, right? We're going to put capture because that's the term that the map uses in the background. So first we have to probably build an array of every single blue 4 town that currently exists. And so what I think is going to be best to do is basically do nested loops. So you do a loop that will go through checking each item in blue 4 I guess it wouldn't even be nested. You check each item in blue 4 sectors. So this guy right here, blue 4 sectors. You say, you know, like if, or like check if blue 4 sectors item is equal to, or is contained within, and what was the other one called? Sectors capture. There we go. Within sectors capture. So that's our pseudocode that we'll use right here to sort of say, we're gonna loop that, right? Because that's to run through every single one. So this would probably be best as a for each loop, I would say, probably. So we'll go for each, and we'll call that blue 4 sectors. So this loop right here is basically means that this code will run for every single item that's in the blue 4 sectors array, and that will allow us to then check them against this other sectors capture. So we'll say I forget what the SQF is for contains. So we're gonna say if, and there's magic letter X. That's the current item that we're working with. Is, let's go ahead and open a new window, and Arma 3 contains, not in string, in. Yeah, I think in is the one we want. This, by the way, this wiki, if you're not using it, you're dumb, because it saves my life. Checks whether value is in an array, which is exactly what we want. So in an array is exactly what we're trying to figure out. So we say if X, and it should say, oh, whoops, wrong thing. It should return if it's true or not, right? Yep, it returns if it's true. So that's perfect for an if statement, right? Because if it's true, then yep. So if this is true, then whatever, right? So if X in sectors capture And then we will then do some code here. Don't forget to put your little close bracket there. So what we're going to do is we're going to then push back the name of this blue 4 sector, or we're going to push that item into a new array, which means that up here, outside the scope of this for each loop, we have to actually define this new array. So this new array is going to be called, let's see, probably blue 4 towns. I'm using their thing. I would normally go like this because that's the kind of coding that I do, but we'll just say blue 4 towns. And we'll, how do we start an array? I think we just go like this. Yeah, if you look right here, and this will be a local variable, so you start it with this. If you do it that way, then that's better. Just like how they started their arrays here, right? So blue 4 towns, we've now created an empty array, and we'll say pushback X. How was it that it did it here? Blue 4 sectors pushback liberated sector. Okay, yeah. So blue 4. So we want. Here we go. Blue 4 towns pushback X. So that should just shove that into the array at the end, which is fine because all we want to do is to scan through for every blue 4 town. We want to make sure that by the end of this, for every sector that blue 4 currently owns, if it's a town, it's going to push it into this array. So now we should, after this, have an array of towns. So we're going to say check if blue 4 sectors is contained within sectors capture and push into array. Cool. So there we go. That's what this does, and we have now commented appropriately so that so later generations can figure out what we stood for. So that's the end of that particular thing. So at this point, we should have a blue 4 towns that we can then select at random, which is nice and easy because now we can define objective town, and we'll just define that like this. Actually, no, we'll define it. We'll define it right here. So objective town equals select random, which just selects a random thing from an array. Blue 4 towns, right? So now any of all the items that are in blue 4 towns, it's going to select a random for objective town. Now, if you have dealt with coding a bit, you might realize that we've kind of screwed ourselves without doing a check here, because what if currently they do not own a single town? This script will still run. It will check in every single sector that they do own, and it's going to compare them to capture, and it just might not push back anything. If that happens, then this blue 4 towns will be totally empty. And so select random will then throw an error here because there is nothing to select from, and it's going to not be able to do that. So what we're going to do is we're not going to fix that right now, but we are going to leave ourselves a little note. Add check for empty array. And I always do 3 asterisks for anything that I'm going to look back on, because I could just search that pretty easily. Control F it in any of my stuff. That's anything I need to fix, anything I need to go back and check. By the time I'm done, I do that. So we're going to later add a check for an empty array, just to make sure that if that happens, we can then exit this and give back the amount of intel that they paid for this, right? So we've done that. At this point, we should now have our objective town should be where they're supposed to go. So then we need to create 50-meter radius marker at town. And what's nice about this, once we create this marker, we can then test what we've currently made here within the stuff. So let's see here. So using this position, right? Because this blue 4 town should be the marker itself, right? And when we looked at how we got this, and let's go ahead and save this, by the way, because it's been a minute. When we looked at how it looked at this, it was just past liberated sector. So what if liberated sector is something different? What we need to figure out what past into here, right? Because we need to figure out exactly what these arrays are full of. Are they full of strings? Because we can definitely search against strings. Are they full of strings right now? Or are they full of the variable names here for these captures? So like, is it Paragos query that's passed here? Or is it factory 1? You know, in this instance, what we care about, is it capture 5 or is it Dorita? Right, so we need to figure that out looking at where we had gotten this blue 4-1. Which, by the way, I think there was another one that was actually better. I just grabbed the first one that was useful for our purposes, but if we go to, should be in the init, I thought they built this array in the init. Get save data, blue sectors, build menu, sector manager. Let's see, set count, lots of counts. Remote call prisoner. Well, let's just figure out what's passed into here. So we're gonna figure out what called sector liberated remote call. So Control F. Like I said, this is that backtracing I was talking about. So sector liberated remote. That's probably enough. So what calls this? Manage one sector. Well, that's pretty easy here, but it just passes sector. So what is it that it's exactly doing here? What is this sector? If sector is all the way up to the first usage of sector here, all the way at the top. Of course, I thought that might be the case. It's passed in sector. But what's nice here is that we can see marker text, sector. We can see where they're using this. And right here it answers. Sector pos. So what has been, or marker pos, what's been passed here is the name of the marker. I know that because it has to get marker pos for whatever sector is. And sector is what they passed into here. So we know that we're passing the name, the actual point itself is what they're passing. Like military 22, this particular marker is what's being passed, which is kind of what I expected. But it's always good to check before you just assume stuff. So what that means is that we're going to create a 50-meter radius marker at town. And so we're going to the get marker pos is exactly where that's going to be, just like they did here. Well, that's just marker pos, I guess, but we're going to get marker pos of objective town. Cool. So we're just going to have that there. That's not a good script. It's not complete yet, but it's good to know that it works. So let's see here. So we need to then create the marker. I forget how to create markers because there's so many things to remember. That's why I go to here and I go create marker. I just searched that. It's probably not. Oh, it's here. It's right here. So we're going to do create marker. In fact, why are we even doing that? We don't need to do that. They did it on their own. Spawn marker was what they did here. That's exactly what they made a marker with, right? So looking here, base position, marker, pos, yada, 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 create clearance. I'm looking to see where they actually do the, like create a visible marker, right? So this might be it. I don't remember this. So get off for spawn point. No. If spawn marker equals, could not find position. Turns them out. So this is, like I said, it's useful to look through the code that already exists. Create vehicles. Creating lots of vehicles. Let's search in here. Create marker. Let's just search marker then. There's that. Position marker. Spawn marker equals get up for spawn point. Exit, whatever. Use positions, base position. Let's see if I actually create the marker here. I wonder what it is that actually creates the marker then. This is going to be important, by the way, here. We need to keep track of that. You guys got any ideas about what actually creates this marker? That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure. Or is it when you actually call this? So maybe we should search find files, fob hunting. Spawn fob hunting. Okay, so start secondary remote call maybe? No? I don't think that's exactly it. Let's see here. Because it just spawns the actual mission. It doesn't create the thing. Which, by the way, this is going to be an important file because it's going to be helpful for us when we create the UI thing. So, where is it? Create that. Well, there are markers created in the other ones as well. So, let's look at a different secondary objective. Secondary, search and rescue. This is obviously created by a different person. It's a very different mindset. What is get op for spawn point? Yep. What is that one? Spawn battle group, get op for spawn point. It's just weird. I don't know. Oh, I wonder if it's just... I know exactly what this is. This finds... That's what it is. It finds the actual... Sorry, Bailey. That's kind of how it works. That's kind of how Arma coding works. You just keep trying things until it works. I'm trying to figure out right now what exactly they're using to create when you run a secondary mission to create that like marker that's there. I haven't seen anything that does it. Waypoints. This is spawning people. Create vehicle wreck. That makes sense. Up for transport truck. Up for vehicles. But I want to create the actual, no kidding, marker. I assume that's going to be somewhere near the bottom. Let's see. But it's not. I don't see it near the top. How you doing, by the way, Bailey? Marker, spawn point marker, get pos. Yep, random. Create vehicle, hello pos. Or helo rec. Set pos. Direction. Create vehicle, set pos. Make sure that the pilots are whatever, doesn't matter, not for what we're looking. Creating a group to patrol around it. Create manage unit, get squad. Waypoints, this is the waypoints for the patrols. Add waypoints for the patrols, still patrols. I must be missing something very basic because I am not seeing where it actually creates the marker. Wait. Oh, here we go. Get pos. Secondary objective position marker. Maybe we need to figure out what's up with that. Why is it creating that? What runs that? This is interesting. Remote call intel.sqf uses that for something. Submitting supplies. So it looks like this, it calls on some other script. Some of the script that's running. This, where is it? Right here. Remote call intel, which I believe we actually had in here. Yeah, see? So it called remote call intel. So that's another script that we have to look at. So it looks like the way that they're currently doing these objectives is they call this pretty much once you're ready for the secondary mission to be run. And so we got to figure out exactly how this mission interacts with this remote call intel. So another thing for us to open. This one's probably be a real doozy too. Object position, get pos player. Interesting. Okay. So if I see, okay, so this is for this particular remote call intel. Looks like anything that has to do with intel. So there is, when you get a prisoner, it'll run, basically if somebody passes this notification type to it, that's 0. That's when you bring a prisoner back to base, right? And it tells you, oh yeah, we interrogated him for some intel. If you find documents which exist around military bases, they're like little laptops and file folders. That must be case 1. Case 2. This is, by the way, this is a selector. So they passed in some. There is not a create marker local. It will be here. It will be in this one. So case 2, which if we look, Oh, big yawn. I'm sorry. Where is... I think if we looked back in fob hunting, we'd see which case they run. Because they're going to definitely kick off the same thing, right? Yep, right here. 2. So this is a fob hunt here for remote call intel. Yeah, so, but that's only just for the fob hunt, right? So what we're going to end up having to do is creating a new case here, case 9, which will be our intel usage. We're basically going to copy more or less, though, their create marker thing, right? So wait until is nil this thing, and then, or not is nil this thing, and then do this stuff. So basically what's happening is you kick off the fob hunt, right? In the other secondaries. You kick off the fob hunt, it does all sorts of stuff. It builds the fob, it peoples it, it does all sorts of stuff, and then right here, right when the secondary mission is ready to more or less sit there and wait for the players to do some action, it will then start this remote call intel, which will, if we drag it over here, and they pass in case 2, right? Which that will now pass to case 2, and it's going to wait until this is not nil, right? Which it shouldn't be nil, because they just put secondary in progress equals 0. It made a public variable. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Wait until the position marker is not nil. Where did they define the position marker is the real question. Oh, right here. So public variable secondary objective position marker. Ah, this makes a lot of sense. So when I was testing out some of the fob templates in Kingfisher, I noticed that you could only ever get a marker for one fob. And I didn't know why that was. The other fobs will still spawn and the secondary missions will work just fine. You just will only ever get a marker. It seems weird to me that they did it this way. Why not just have this mission create the marker, create the notification, all that stuff? Why is it a centralized thing? I don't know. Whatever. It's just the way it is. So it passes case 2. It waits until this is actually defined somewhere, which it was. It waits until the count is greater than 0. I don't know why it does both of that, but whatever. And then wait until the distance to wherever 0 pos is greater than that. I guess there's times that maybe this is defined as the 0 pos, which is 0, 0, 0. I don't know. In any case, it will create this show notification thing, which we're going to want to remember. And then it will create our secondary marker and then a secondary marker zone. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to hibbity hoppity, your code is now my property. Boom. Cool. Case 9 out of 9. And somebody with some sanity would have actually said what each of these cases is. So we're going to do that. This is Civ supplies mission. We'll just call it that mission. Cool. Excellent. I don't know why you wouldn't have defined which. Somebody who made this was definitely making it by themselves. They weren't sharing code with people. Anyway. So it's going to wait for the same things, right? So we're going to have to do that same stuff to launch this. And then it's going to go lib intel fob. We're not going to do that yet. We're going to go like this. We're going to go fix. But it's going to create the secondary marker, right? Secondary marker objective position. It's going to use secondary marker, which is the name of the only secondary marker that can happen because it's all one centralized thing. And HD unknown. And that's going to create this ellipse around it. So we're going to create this ellipse to 50. 50. Cool. So that's going to be a smaller ellipse, right? It's going to be set to red for now. It doesn't really matter. And then that's pretty much it. So Control S on a remote call intel and go back to our Civ supplies, right? So now we need to do the same thing they do in fob hunting here. We got to basically take this and we're going to go like this. I hate that it does that. Cool. Why is this all one off? I don't know. It's a good question that somebody should probably be asking me. Why are we not all the way pushed up against the left? I don't know. Because I like it that way. I'm not sure. Anyway, so secondary objective position, which is a global marker that we're gonna do this. This is weird how they do this. This would be some. Oh, this is because it's random, right? It's not exactly on there. I don't know if we want that. How does the search and rescue do it? Get pos this random. This is weird. Position marker equals secondary objective position. 800 random 3. Oh, in a different direction. I see. It's within some amount of whatever. Okay, we're gonna make this the very center. So secondary objective position equals get marker pos objective town. Right. So the position is exactly this thing right here. And then the marker equals, this is interesting how they do this. Let me look back over here to see exactly how they handle it. Position marker, right? We passed in notification type and a position. So it should be a position. That's how my understanding is. It should be a position at this point, not a marker. We'll find out. Okay, so going to civ supplies. Create objective position equals get marker pos objective town. That's right, so the position is now objective town. Honestly, get objective position marker has a whole bunch of stuff. I see. We just want to set this equal to this because we don't need to do any crazy randomness. As far as I know, we just want to set equal to that, which is kind of a weird way to go about it. We're just doing it though to match what they have. And then we need to make sure that we go back to fob hunting and we actually change this stuff because that'll tell the game that we're currently in a secondary mission. Secondary progress equals 0, secondary progress, and this right here, the number we pass in will be 9 because that will call that particular case that we did here. And then it should create this stuff. Okay, and then we save it. So, what we've done thus far. Step 1. Get a list of blue 4 towns and select one at random. We need to test. Okay. Step 2, create 50-meter market or radius marker at town. Test. That's where we're at right now. But this is the first testable thing, though. We could have done the previous thing. We couldn't actually test it, though. Now that it creates this marker, you should be able to test it. You should be able to go right in here, figure out where this exactly lives at, right? So we go secondary, all this stuff. So we got to run the script as that, and we're gonna go here. We're gonna play in multiplayer, launch it as we did before. Cool. Oh yeah, we need to turn off the freaking tutorial and all that stuff. Whatever, we'll do that at a later date. I'm not overly concerned right now. Love this song. Oh my goodness, can we please go? Join the fight. My goodness. And we'll go to Fob Alpha. So it's not going to be selectable through the scroll wheel. We have not done anything with the UI yet, but it should be selectable with, or should be able to be launched. Where's my fob? Do this, and then we'll go here, permissions. Go ahead and give myself all permissions for right now. Why is this debug console so little? What the heck? Why are you small? What? Am I crazy? Why is this so little? Should be up here a bigger whatever. Okay, so we're going to call it the same way that it was called in start secondary, right? So we're gonna spawn it. That's how it's done. So spawn, then the thing. We'll just go ahead and grab this, copy and paste here. And what this is, we have to actually find the position of it, which should be, I think, this with the, I believe this is how it goes. I could be totally wrong. I have to put in the main one just for the time being. Don't worry about that. There we go. And then the script name, of course, is civ supplies, right? In fact, we could even, just to make sure we don't totally jack it up. Copy. Here we go. Okay. Civ supplies, right there. So, conceptually, if we server exec this, it should create something. Invalid number expression. Oh, yeah, sorry, we gotta call it by its name. Call me by my name. Generic error expression. Yeah, that's kind of what I was worried about. We're going to remote exec this just for now, just because it's easier. Where's this generic error? Where are my previous buttons? I'm so confused why I have this little one. Can you tell me why I have a little... Does anyone know why I don't have... I should be able to previous, next, all sorts of stuff. Well, that was weird. I went out of window, didn't mean to do that. Oh, that hand coming up actually kind of spooked me a little bit. Where's my previous, though? No? That's weird. I don't know why it would be that way. This is so strange. I've never seen this small version of this window before. Whatever. I guess it just is what it is. Oh, man. So what's the remote exec again? It's... Gonna like do this. Function targets. That's right. Oh, no, it's just exec. That's all I wanted. I'm dumb. Don't mind me. If I go back to previous, it'd be nice. That's really gonna bug me. This civ. Oh no, now we're all caps. Civ supplies dot sqf. This. It's just exec. Okay, maybe I'm dumb. That's fine. Wouldn't be the first time. Oh, exec VM. That's what it is, exec VM. Because that makes sense. Scripts, server, secondary, civ supplies could not be found. I find that hard to believe. I find your lack of faith disturbing. There we go. So it did run it. Here we go. Now we start the debugging process. Everyone's favorite, your favorite, mine. Debugging this nonsense. So, what was the error we got? Well, it kind of flashes on the screen really fast, but what we can do, though, actually go to our Arma folder here. Oh, sorry, no, not Arma. It's actually in your local apps, or your app data. App data local, Arma 3. So if you didn't know, when you're running a local server, you can actually see all the alarms your local server does within the app data folder. And there, if you don't know how to find this folder, just search app data folder in Google and it'll tell you. Anyway, so we go down here to where our error is at. Right here. Undefined objective town. Well, why is our objective town undefined? That doesn't make any sense. We had defined it right here. Get marker pos. We defined it. How can it say it's undefined? Oh, this is the... Oh my god. I'm like friggin' Nostradamus. Remember how we added this thing where we need to check for an empty array? Well, there's a reason why we need to check for an empty array. Look at all the towns that we currently possess. Big fat 0. I predicted that I was going to screw this up. Luckily, there's a script that fixes that. We go ahead here to the KP Liberation Discord. Yeah, yep, exactly. KP Liberation Development. Right here is the one. Yep, here we go. Yep, this is the one that we run. Like this. Local exec. Click a town. Local exec. Click a town. Local exec. Click a town. Cool. So now we own 3 towns. Where are my previous buttons? I'm going to freak out. What is going on here? Do we need to do Zeus for Commander, enable limited Zeus? I mean, it shouldn't have anything to do with Zeus, but just in case. I don't know why. Support system access? No. We'll just go ahead and turn the stuff over here, by the way. Save ourselves a little time later. Yeah, I don't know. Try now. I don't know why I get the mini escape menu. Should have saved our towns. No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, there. Cool. So we got 3 towns. Join the fight. Fob Alpha. Let's go. I still have this. What the? Okay, I'm gonna search this in the Googles because this is weird. Arma 3 small script window. Apparently, the Barry debug console is part of a CBA mod. Really? You have to run CBA to get more? Well, I feel dumb. Even all the okay. Well, that'll be a quick fix. Let's reload with CBA because it's going to be hard to do it without that mod. Yeah, so we gotta relaunch real fast. That's fine. Nothing new there, right? Oh my goodness gracious! Get a message from my wife telling me it's late. Go back here, mods. I guess I haven't run without CBA in a long time. But that's cool. That should take no time at all. So yeah, we got step 1 and 2 basically done. Create spawn civilian leader. This is we'll put this later. We don't need that yet. We'll put 2 asterisks, right? Because that's to come back and check. Or 3, sorry, 3 asterisks. Come back and check later. This while loop though is what I'd like to get through. To check if the crepes. Check if those crepes have been brought there. I appreciate the help there, Hoodle. Coming through as always. Come on, load. So I have Arma in full screen for streaming purposes, and you know, so we have just hit the hour-long time, and we have literally tried to create a marker. That's all we've done. Arma scripting do be like that sometimes. KP elaboration. An elaboration of KPs. Here we go. Okay. Go in here and turn off the tutorial real fast while we're here. Nope, that's not what I meant to double click. There we go, disabled. And the introduction, disabled. Cool. I like the song. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so testing, 1, 2, join the fight. Go to alpha. Oh, there it is right there. Cool. That's excellent. But what did I do? Spawn? I don't even know what these commands are. What the heck are those? Whatever. Yeah, so it only remembers the ones I did from last time. So we gotta do it again. So exec VM. We go back here. I probably should have put this in like a notepad or something like that. But you know, this is the last time we're gonna have to run it, right? We'll never have to run it again. It's gonna run perfectly. That's how it works. It's gonna run perfectly, right? Mission. Civ supplies.sqf tilde server exec. You the civ supply. You son of a bee. What'd I miss? Am I dumb? This folder. Exec VM scripts server secondary civ supplies. I assure you it is there. Oh. It did not kick out an error that time, but it doesn't seem to have actually done anything. So that's the worst kind. Where you run it, it doesn't actually do anything. What? Let's go check our log. See if there's any errors in the log. It did nothing. Noshing. Oh, it's still giving me the... It's just not kicking that. What have I messed up? Let's go back to the previous error file. Did it not have the... Oh, I don't need that first one. Yeah, you're right. I remember now. Where was it? Whatever. Let's get... It's that one right there. I don't need... Oh, look! We did it! We selected a random town. Thank the Lord Almighty. It's working. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing, guys. We did it. Yo, Adrian, we did it. Thanks for the heads up there, Hoodle. And see, if we try to run it again, though, it shouldn't go to another town because it's currently still in an active state, right? We had to shut down the mission before it can try to launch another mission. But not actually launch another mission before it'll create another marker. I don't know why that's a thing. So we're going to go here. We're going to make sure we're selecting a random one by loading back in and doing it again. I spend a lot of time when I'm editing these loading and unloading and loading and unloading and loading all day long. Okay, cool. So we're going to run this again. Boom. And checking it out. Should be it's the same one, though. But was that random or was it not random? That's the real question you got to ask yourself, buddy. Let's go back. Hostile fob. That's not good. Why did it say hostile fob? I thought I disabled the notification that you get. Remote call intel. I did? But I did. The notification's been disabled. What? But why? That's weird. Okay, whatever. So here's what we're gonna do. There we go. This one, local exec. We're just gonna grab a bunch of other random towns to make it far less likely. Instead of 1/3 likely, it's, you know, a lot of other towns possible here. I don't know why it wouldn't be random, but just in case. There's no reason why it shouldn't be random based upon what we were seeing before. I mean, operation base doesn't matter. Let me open my map. Okay. Yep, cool. It's random. Yay, we have selected a random place for our mission to happen at. Ladies and gentlemen, why is that a hostile fob? That makes no friggin' sense, but whatever. How, yeah, so it's just like a little tiny area, right? Right here at the, wherever the marker is. The reason why I give it 50 meters is because some towns, I think this isn't going to be a problem in Altus, but some towns in some maps, the marker's like over the middle of a building or something. Like, if you gave a really small radius, then that could be a real problem. Yeah, some of these seem all pretty good though. Anyway. They're ringing the bell because we're about to bring some supplies. But anyway, so now onto the part that should be hard. That was the easy part, ladies and gentlemen. Now we go back to Civ Supplies. Create a while loop to check if 2 of the correct crates have been brought to the point. We also have to fix this this notification, but that's neither here nor there. I still don't know why it was doing it. It's commented out. Is there another spot that's show notification? I mean, like, why? No, God, why? Anyway, so going back to this, we created it. Start secondary mission. We will figure out why it's doing that at a later date. I'm not as overly concerned about that. We'll add a thing like check why fob notification. Cool. Okay. Anyway, so going back, what are we doing now? Next thing is we need to now have a while loop. Or have a loop. I said while loop. I have some sort of loop that sits there and just waits It just waits and waits and waits until somebody brings 2 of the correct supply crates into that area. And I don't think I marked it in here, but they have to be unloaded. So whatever method they use to bring the supply crates, they have to be sitting on the ground. I want to specify that because if you use the loading mechanism and then you just drive a truck into town with 2 crates, it wouldn't, the immersion factor would be pretty awful, right? You just drive in there and they would just zap out of the back of your truck and oh, everything's safe. No, I feel like you should have to go in there, take some time to unload it, and like that. Part of that thought process also for me is that I think it might be interesting if we did this and we didn't think it was interesting enough to maybe spawn like a group of enemies in the vicinity of where your drop-off point is, like they're trying to ambush you a little bit. So you have to bring the supplies in. I don't know. I thought that maybe that could be fun, but that's not what we're doing yet. For right now, we're just while loop to wait until supply crates have been, until 2x have been brought to within 50 meters of objective. Cool. So while I'm forgetting, while loops I think are brackets. Yeah, so they're open bracket while supplies. I'm gonna keep following their really weird way. Present is equal to false, which means we have to define that, right, as false already. And then do is while do loop here, right? While do the do. Okay, so which means we have to define the supplies present equals false. We'll go and do it up here at the very top. Really, we're going to end up taking all of our definitions and putting them at the top, but I'm just doing this for the sake of my brain right now. So what did I even name that? Supplies present equals false. Pretty basic, right? It's a local variable. That's why I put this little thing in the front. So while this is false, do that. We're going to set it to true to escape this and give the civilian reputation change that we so want. So we're going to check every so often. So you always want to make sure that you do a sleep. We're going to check every 5 seconds. I think it's probably appropriate for this. When you do a while loop, make sure you actually put some sort of wait timer in there, because otherwise you'll just be burning through your CPU as it sits there and runs a while loop a billion times a second. Anyway, I mean, there's a limit within Arma, but either way. So we're going to check if there are 2 objects near to 2 objects that are of the type that are within distance of the center of that point. Okay, that may not be the most efficient method to do it, but because we're only calling this every 5 seconds, it doesn't really matter which method we do. It's not going to be too bad either way. So we're going to do while supplies present equals false, do this thing. And the thing is, we have to see if there are any of those. Here's a good question. Do we want to try to check if they're within the marker? Or do we want to check if there is, we want to check all objects that are within 50 meters and see if there are 2 of them in there? Well, let's go ahead and see what we have for that sort of thing. So going here, I'm actually just going to search Arma 3 check in marker. I believe that there's a check unit in marker. I believe there's already a script for this. In area, is that the one? Checks whether a given position is inside an area. No, we don't want that. That's not going to help us, right? Because we're not going to check every single supply crate on the map. Is it possible to check with forums.bohemia? In trigger, that's it also has marker units called triggers. Really? Let's check this out. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that? Do that is in trigger. Position is within. Oh, but here's the problem, right? We still have to define So there's a trigger, right? We could check. Apparently it does markers. That's weird. So this could be a little bit more difficult than I thought, because the crate is a unit type, right? And we can actually figure this out by looking at, actually I think it's, yeah, well, let's go crate. I might have to search supplies. Check crate, no, class crate from storage. Check crate value. We go crate from storage. This I think is where this is actually I think what will help us here. Unloads a crate from the storage area, so it will get crate type, yada yada yada. My wife's messaging me. So I'm sending a message back to my wife. Unload pos. I just want to see where the actual crate item is. It's not really doing much. It's not actually creating. I forgot it's actually attached in there, so that's not a good one for it. Crate 2 storage doesn't help us. Crate. This is exactly what we're looking for right here. Type of resource, and then create the crate. That's perfect. Set variable, crate value, resource. Check if resource is valid. So let's check what these crate types are. That's what we need to do, is what is actually listed as a crate. And then we're going to create that. We're going to create that crate object. What's up, Popman? Hacker man, that's what I'm doing. Create that crate. Right. I'm just trying to see basically what this map set thinks the crates are. I don't know where the crates are actually listed. Here we go. Oh, it's big surprise. Init presets, right? We talked about this before. Maybe. This init presets is really important for actually creating all of the vehicle classes. You can really screw up the game by messing with this, but you can kind of make it do neat things as well. But all I care about here are these supply. So we're focused on supplies. So we're going to search Liberation Supply Crate. Where does that come from? Remember, it's backwards, just checking. Create crate, get crate height. No. Ah, here we go. It's actually defined in your Blue 4 preset. So it looks like it's always going to be cargo net, box, whatever. But what the best part is that we can search and see if the unit of this type equal to this type is there, because this is a global value. This value is a global one that we can search anyway. So we're going to just copy that into our stuff right here. No, but Popman, I also am majoring in computer science, but it's SQF's a little bit weird. By the way, if you guys could click the little like button while you're here, I'd appreciate it. Just a little note. Maybe subscribe, you know? Anyone out there is watching? Anyway, so we're going to check if 2x of is in area. So at least now we know that it's called Liberation Supply Crate. So I think what we're going to have to do is every 5 seconds check every object within 50 meters. Yeah, that's what we're going to have to do. Check every object within 50 meters of the central point. And then increase a, increase a number associated with how many there are. And maybe come up with we'll come up with an array of that. That's perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say get all objects in areas. What we need to do is our next step here. I don't want to see that. Arma 3, get all objects in area. In marker. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Python. Yeah, so this is, it's SQF. It's an Arma only thing. It's sort of got a C-like property to it. I don't know how to describe it. Other than that. Well, this won't pass all the objects in area, right? It will just check if the position of something is in the area. Yeah, that's not. What's in area array do for us? given list of objects that are in the area. Perfect. So, positions. What is that? I'm confused about the syntax of this. Vehicles. Oh, it's the type. It's like the type. Got it. So we want vehicles, I think, right? Because it's a... When we did this create, it created a vehicle, right? Where was it? Yeah, vehicles. So vehicles. So we want all vehicle types. Oh my goodness, Pop Man, it goes deeper than this, I promise you. So we're gonna get list of all objects in marker area. Which, by the way, is this secondary marker zone though? We can't. Oh, we'll use this name, right? Because in use the name. So we'll use the name. So we'll go objects to check. Dude, I hate the way the syntax uses. Is equal to vehicles. Was it just vehicle or vehicles? Vehicles. Yep. In area. And the name of the secondary marker is just secondary marker zone. Cool. So now we should have an array of every object that's inside this secondary marker zone, which is the 50-meter radius that we already created, right? We could have done something a little fancier, but this is just, it only runs every 5 seconds. Should be fine. So we're going to do another for each loop. We're loops inside of loops inside of loops. For each objects to check. Cool. So in this for each loop, so every time this runs, every 5 seconds, we're going to check every single object, right? And we're going to do one of these numbers. We're going to say objects to check, and we're going to do an if statement. Open if magic word X there, so the current object that's being checked, which is objects to check. So this item, if that, oh my goodness, is equal to, I think you direct is equal to, and then the actual, I think it will give you the unit type. This is a big if.